The Webcam Intruder. In the quiet confines of her home, Sarah, a 12-year-old, found herself alone as her parents were out for the night. The soft glow of the computer screen illuminated her face as she chatted with friends on MSN Messenger, blissfully unaware of the impending horror. As she exchanged messages, a sudden revelation struck her like an icy wind. A mysterious online friend seemed to know intimate details of her evening, details she had never shared. The stranger described her actions, recounting the minutiae of her night with an unsettling precision. A nauseating fear gripped Sarah. She glanced nervously at the large window in front of her computer, realizing the potential breach of her privacy. Could this person be watching her through the very window she thought shielded her from the outside world? Investigating further, she uncovered a horrifying truth. The stranger had hacked into her webcam, a lens she habitually left uncovered. The violation of her personal space sent shivers down her spine. It had been an electronic eye into her private moments, and the revelation left her feeling exposed and vulnerable. Haunted by this encounter, Sarah, now a grown woman, ensures every camera on her devices is shrouded in thick duct tape. The violation of that night echoes through the years, a reminder that even the digital realm can be a gateway to unimaginable terror. The hand in the dark. In the innocence of childhood, terror often lurks in unexpected places. For 8-year-old Timmy, that terror manifested itself in the simple act of taking out the trash after nightfall. Little did he know that an evil force awaited him in the shadows. The sun had long bid farewell, and the moon cast an eerie glow as Timmy approached the trash cans near the back deck. An ordinary chore turned into a nightmare when an unseen hand shot out, seizing his leg with a strength that defied reason. A primal scream tore through the night as Timmy fought against the invisible assailant. In an instant, the grip released, and he sprinted back to the safety of his home. The mysterious hand remained hidden, its intentions unknown, leaving Timmy forever scarred by the encounter. The Asylum Escapee. Amid a seemingly ordinary night, young Alex found himself entrusted with the care of his 7-year-old sister. Living in proximity to an abandoned insane asylum, the siblings had grown accustomed to occasional encounters with escapees seeking refuge. On this fateful evening, a woman emerged from the dark, claiming to be an escapee in need of assistance. The air hung heavy with strange desperation as she begged to use the phone and requested matches for a cigarette. A sense of foreboding gripped Alex, prompting him to prioritize his sister's safety. As the woman's half-screams and half-moans echoed, demanding matches, Alex made a swift decision. He ushered his sister inside, locking the door behind them, and called for help. The woman's true intentions remained shrouded in ambiguity. Whether it was a mere plea for a cigarette or a darker plan, Alex had averted a potential catastrophe that night. The uninvited visitor. In the solitude of her new apartment, Emily reveled in the freedom of independence. However, that newfound freedom crumbled when the familiar sounds of a key turning in the lock disrupted the tranquility of her evening. It was only 8:30 p.m., far too early for her boyfriend to return from work. A sense of unease settled in as she peered out the window, confirming the absence of his car. Panic gripped her when the doorknob began to turn as if someone with a key sought entry. A glance out the kitchen window revealed no familiar vehicles, only darkness veiling the potential intruder. Emily's heart raced as the intruder persisted, attempting to breach her sanctuary with a makeshift tool. Terrified, she locked herself in the bathroom, clutching a knife as she dialed 911. The minutes crawled by as the assailant attempted to pry open the door, their determination unnerving. The police later discovered an elderly man with a troubled past, driven by delusion to reclaim a place that was no longer his. The encounter left Emily haunted, forever wary of uninvited visitors, and the apartment bore witness to the lingering echoes of that night. The malevolent swing. Childhood memories often intertwine with innocence, but for young Jenny, a seemingly harmless tree swing harbored a malevolent secret. Set against the backdrop of her backyard, the swing held dark intentions beyond the laughter of carefree days. The swing, fashioned from a log suspended between two trees, had been a source of joy until an inexplicable force yanked Jenny backward one fateful afternoon. The log, previously a symbol of amusement, splintered and crashed down, narrowly missing her. Confused and terrified, Jenny searched for answers, but no logical explanation emerged. The feeling of being pulled back, a force unseen and unexplained, etched itself into her mind, forever altering her perception of the innocent games from her childhood. The vanishing snowy footprints. Winter nights often transform familiar landscapes into serene wonderlands. For Mark, residing in a cul-de-sac, an ordinary snowfall took a sinister turn on one chilly evening. Woken by a sudden urge for water, Mark gazed out of his second-story window to marvel at the accumulating snow. The peaceful scene, however, morphed into a chilling mystery when he returned only minutes later. Fresh footsteps marred the pristine snow, leading from his house and disappearing behind a neighbor's home. In the span of a mere 4 minutes, an unseen presence had traversed the snowy terrain, leaving behind an ominous trail. Mark, bewildered and unsettled, confronted the realization that something otherworldly had graced his cul-de-sac that night. The haunted television. In the solitude of her living room, Lisa, engrossed in a television show, found herself on the edge of an otherworldly encounter. The door behind her, closed and locked, stood as a barrier against the unknown. As she immersed herself in the flickering light of the screen, a sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut. The metallic click of the lock reverberated through the room. Panic seized Lisa as she grappled with the reality of being alone, yet not truly alone. The room seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy as the television flickered ominously. Lisa, now paralyzed with fear, confronted the inexplicable force that had taken residence in her home. The locked door served as a feeble defense against the supernatural entity lurking just beyond her perception. The enigmatic figure in the fields. Isolation, coupled with the vast expanse of fields, can transform the mundane into a realm of eerie possibilities. For Jake, living amidst woods and crops, the solitude of a rural night unveiled a spectral figure in the heart of nature. During a solo midnight smoke on the porch, Jake's tranquility shattered when a puff of smoke revealed a face just inches away. The silhouette, unseen and unfathomable, dissipated as Jake recoiled in shock. The unsettling encounter left Jake wrestling with the boundary between the natural and the supernatural. The inky darkness of the fields held secrets beyond human comprehension, and the spectral figure became a haunting reminder that isolation, far from civilization, could open doors to entities beyond understanding. The babysitter's nightmare. In the quiet responsibilities of babysitting, young Ashley found herself thrust into a nightmare that transcended the ordinary. Tasked with caring for a neighbor's 2-year-old, her evening took a sinister turn when a mysterious caller infiltrated her solitude. The phone rang, and an unfamiliar voice probed, demanding answers about the mother's whereabouts. A sense of dread enveloped Ashley as the caller's questions escalated, culminating in a chilling mention of the baby's proximity to a window. Fighting back fear, Ashley maintained composure, asserting her role as the babysitter. The ominous caller, an ominous reminder of the unknown, left her shaken and vulnerable. The mother's revelation of a disturbed ex-husband heightened the stakes, transforming Ashley's night of babysitting into a harrowing ordeal. The whispers of the night. In the embrace of the familiar chair, Rachel closed her eyes, only to be plunged into an encounter with the spectral unknown. The whispers of the night, veiled in darkness, beckoned her to awaken from an illusory slumber. A woman's voice, barely audible yet distinctly present, murmured her name. The breathy whisper conveyed an urgency, compelling Rachel to rise from her repose. She obeyed, opening her eyes to a room draped in shadows. To her dismay, no one stood in the room, and the whispered command lingered like a ghostly echo. The boundary between dreams and reality blurred as Rachel grappled with the spectral summons, questioning the nature of the voice that had woven itself into her nocturnal solitude. As she stood in the silent room, the memory of the enigmatic whisper lingered, an unsettling reminder that the night held secrets that defied the grasp of the waking world. Let's subscribe to get more horror stories.